everyone, and welcome to another Instaviews. I am Saskia, the assistant editor of Voice. Feels good to be on this side of Instaviews again. I do hope you're all enjoying the nice sun that we've got going on. Today, we are actually going to be talking to actor and producer Oriane Pick, who is going to talk to us a bit about her career, the projects that she's been working on, and what is coming up for her. So let's bring on Oriane. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Very good, very good.
Good. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No problem at all. So, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a bit about your creative background?
Sure. So my name is Oriane Pick. I'm an actor and producer, originally from France, and I moved to London, I think it was 8 years ago now. And I started working in advertising and then realized that I wanted to go back into acting, which was always a big part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to take some classes, and decided after a few years to also try producing, which I loved, and ended up doing both. And now I'm kind of splitting my time between acting and producing.
So what kind of hat do you wear more often? Do you class yourself as an actor first and a producer second, or?
I want to say actor first and producer second, definitely.
Yeah.
However, lately it's been the other way around for some reason. So it's been because of the pandemic as well, it's been harder to get cast in projects. Everything was postponed, etc. So that's why I focused more on the producing and things that I could really control. Because with acting, you never know really when a role is going to come your way or not.
Yeah.
So I decided to really focus more on the producing, which was incredible because it actually really took off, weirdly enough, during the pandemic. So yeah, it's been usually acting, but then at the moment, definitely more producing.
So how did you get into producing? If you already did acting before, how was that journey for you?
So essentially, there were some specific roles that I really wanted to play as an actor,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't get those castings, or I couldn't see them, and I didn't really see myself in the roles that I was being offered, and I didn't quite, like some of the stereotypes that I was seeing in female characters, and I wanted to do something different. So I think it was 4 years ago, maybe three now, I got in touch with someone who's one of my dearest friends today called Kieran Bourne, and he's a writer-director. He wrote a story that I kind of pitched to him at the beginning, and he made it his own, and it's a beautiful, beautiful story about how to deal with the memory of sexual assault. And we created that together. I produced it, and that's when I realized that I love the producing side of things as well in the industry, and to have really that creative ownership and be part of the process from start to finish. Because I think as an actor, you just see one bit of it, and I just really love being involved in every aspect of filmmaking.
Oh no, you get quite a lot of people, they don't see themselves reflected in the roles, or the roles are, quite stereotypical, so they go ahead and they create their own, art, which I just think is amazing. So I'm great that it's taken off for you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been an amazing journey, and now I'm not necessarily acting in all of the projects that we've got with the company, but I'm always so pleased to be involved from start to finish as a producer, and
Yeah.
getting that team together as well is incredibly heartwarming, and seeing everyone so excited when the film is finished as well is just, it's a lovely, lovely feeling for sure.
So tell us what you're working on at the moment.
Whew, a lot. Yeah, my head is actually spinning quite a lot at the moment, which is great. I'm not complaining. We've got 2 short films coming up in November. One that is about domestic abuse and sexism, and it's with a first-time filmmaker called Holly Stevens. So we're really excited to produce that film. And the other one is a short musical, very feel-good musical called Satisfaction Guaranteed, and so different as well. So it's really exciting that we're producing both kind of at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's for this year. The next year, we already have 2 short films confirmed, 1 Chekhov play, and 2 feature films as well. So it's quite busy. And well, potentially a TV pilot as well, but let's see what happens. But
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's yeah. I don't really know how we're going to do all of this, but we are surely going to try. So yeah.
I think everyone's got so much energy after COVID, like, being dormant for so long that now anything goes. I'm sure you probably will bring all of those projects into fruition as well. So,
Fingers crossed. Yeah. I mean, they're all really beautiful and unique projects, and female led as well, which I'm really, really big on. So it's very exciting.
so talking about COVID, how did you manage to stay motivated and creative during lockdown?
It was very tough at the beginning, like I think for everyone, because everyone needed to kind of like settle in and understand what was going on, and there was this massive uncertainty for everyone. But weirdly enough, I had that production company that had just been created, and I really wanted to use that time to build on it and create more projects. So the first project that we did, I was so scared of doing it, given that it was, I think, right before the second lockdown, so it was still quite uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, we created more and more projects, and we've had some Oscar qualifying festivals selecting our films. So it's been really, really exciting. And I think as soon as we created one film, we just wanted to get onto the next one and the next one and the next one, and keep being that way, which was great.
Was there anything that you had planned like before lockdown that had to come to an end because obviously lockdown ruined it? Was there any project you were working on, or?
I mean, it didn't come to an end, but there was a web series that we had started, and we wanted to pitch it to networks. And I think it's just with lockdown as well, at the beginning as well, it was harder to actually, understand how to pitch to the right people. And I think at some point this ship has sailed, so we couldn't do that anymore. So that was a shame, because I think it was a really, really nice project.
Mm-hmm.
The first short film that we did, which is called I Am, that one was really difficult to put together because we needed a lot of funding. It was during COVID, so obviously everyone was being careful with their money, which is totally understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the first lockdown, then we had the second one, so everything was taking longer than expected. And it was a role that I was also acting in it, and it was a role that was very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was even harder to leave that emotional side of it aside, I guess. But it was a great experience, so I learned a lot from it.
And what have been some of the highlights from your career so far?
I think, so there's a couple. There's one where, it's funny enough, so my friend Kieran Bourne that I mentioned to you earlier, he's the one that always spots whenever I'm nominated for something. I never spot it for some reason. I spot it for, like, as a producer, never as an actor. And he's always the one telling me, like, boom, it happened. You're nominated for Best Actress. And I think that feeling when I see that, I'm like, is it my name? Is it really? This is incredible. So I would say that's definitely one for sure.
I can imagine, like, you don't, maybe you need pinching to make sure that it's actually happening, or just reminding that it's actually you.
Yeah.
But that must be an incredible feeling.
It's so rewarding, and at the same time it's funny because I think most of the actors are like that anyway, but you start doubting yourself. You're like, but why are they nominating me? Like, what have I done that is actually different? So straight away you go into this weird negative spin to kind of like, don't want to believe it too much, which is, but yeah.
How do you get yourself out of that though, when those feelings start to take over?
Well, when you've got a friend like Kieran, for instance, like he keeps telling you, dude, it's happening. Like, it is. That's your name. So start believing it. And that helps so much. Because when you've got, I think, that supporting network around you, it gives you even more motivation to go even further. Yeah. Which is fantastic.
So every actor out there needs a Kieran by their side.
100%. I say that to all of my actor friends.
Do you ever find it challenging, like balancing being an actor and being a producer as well? Is there any challenges that you face?
Yeah, many. Because I think as an actor, so whenever I'm acting in my films as well, it is very difficult to step out of it. So for instance, for the short film I Am that we did, I was playing a very intense role that required a lot of research and a lot of focus on set. But then on set, we had tons of issues to deal with. So it was really hard. I remember one time right before a take, someone from the crew called me saying, "Oh my God, it's urgent, you have to come." When I was just about to go into a very emotional scene. So it's like stepping out of it and then trying to come back into it.
Yeah.
But then you just use that as a, to build on the character, as a frustration or something to add layers to, I guess. And that's how I'm trying to deal with it now. Whenever possible, though, I'm trying to separate the producing from acting.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my amazing assistant, Anaïs Ferrato, who's joined me last year as well. And she's, like, for instance, there's a short film called Pulse, again, written and directed by Kieran, that I was acting in, and I needed to really focus on my part. And she was doing the whole, like, everything producing wise, and I had nothing to worry about. So I'm trying to, like, delegate as much as possible whenever I'm acting in it.
Yeah. So for your future projects, the ones that you mentioned earlier, are you a producer on those and not acting in them, and then the others you'll be acting and not producing, or?
Yeah, I realized I told you this, and actually I'm doing the complete opposite next year, so I'm not even taking my own advice. So one short film, I am acting, but as a supporting character, so it's easier to manage. But then the two features, I'm playing quite a big part in them, so I'll need to properly delegate for sure.
Yeah. Lucky you have your assistant then.
Yeah, 100%.
So what advice would you give to young people wanting to get into the industry as a producer or as an actor?
I would say don't worry about getting into something that isn't, like, secure, or that you can't really have a full control of, because that's the beauty of it as well. And it's just, it took me a long time to realize that this is what I wanted to do. I went to a very, like, traditional educational background in France, and it was kind of like set in stones in terms of what I needed to be doing with my life. And then I changed gears, and a lot of people were surprised when actually it was the best decision of my life. So just go for it. Don't look back, and just keep going and keep exploring, I think.
Do you reckon you'll try any other roles within the film industry? Like, would you ever try directing? I know we made that mistake of calling you a director. Would you ever try it?
I think I would love to one day. Because I'm going on to, like, bigger projects for producing, I want to make sure that I know this craft well first, before adding another hat to what I'm doing, I think. But yeah, directing, I think that would be very interesting. Writing, I'm pretty sure I'll be really bad at it, so I'm probably going to leave that to writers forever. But directing is something I really like, especially to create that bond with the actors is something that I find very interesting. So yeah,
absolutely. So where can people find some of your work, and where can they find you on social media?
So on social media, you can find me on Oriane_Pick. And then we've got the production company as well that is in my bio, so Candid Broads Productions. Otherwise, I've got a website as well called itsoriane.com.
Great. I'll make sure to put those in the caption as well at the end. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today, Oriane. It's been lovely speaking to you.
It's been great speaking to you. Thank you so much.
No problem. And thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Today's episode was made possible by Voice Magazine, an online platform for young people interested in art and culture. You can read VoiceOver at voicemag.uk and find it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as VoiceMagUK. If you like this podcast, please consider helping us to make more with a donation of any amount at voicemag.uk/donate. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod for use of the track Thief in the Night. You can find more of his work on incomputech.com.